Nonsense, Season 3, Episode 61, our big story and our second show of the week. I'm Jeff Parker.
I'm CJ Little.
This time we're looking at Cosmic Close Call, the story of Three-Eye Atlas's daring flyby this December. Up next.
Listen, I cannot wait to discuss this.
Yeah.
In the 150 plus episodes that you have suffered through on this show with me,
yes,
I think this might be the most excited I've ever been about a topic. And it's not just because of the subject matter, but the time component of this. Like, this is all new.
It's happening. It's coming up. It's coming right up.
It's just, we've only had a couple months.
December 19th is the big thing.
Yeah.
And we're going to be visited by aliens. I've read about this.
Okay. Maybe we should do the whole show. Maybe we should save your commentary for the end of the whole show. This is going to be like our version of War of the Worlds.
Yeah, totally.
Where by the end of it, everyone is just driving off the road.
Absolutely.
But everybody, we're all learning this at the same time, sort of in real time, because we just discovered this thing in July.
We don't have a lot of interstellar objects. This is cool.
We don't, which is one of the things I want to talk about. But
yeah.
I do feel like AI was the best examples that we had most recently because it's relatively new. It's only been in the public's eye, in the masses' eye for the past couple of years.
Yeah.
But I feel like in our lifetime, AI was probably the closest we got to this sort of time compression of something that was really potentially, or I think ultimately, will be civilization changing.
Sure.
And this Three-Eye Atlas could be that. And it's not going to take us years to figure it out. It's going to take months.
December 19th, yeah.
It's pretty nuts.
I have it on my calendar.
So I'm excited to talk to you about this.
I got to be honest with the audience and say there was a plumbing leak in the ceiling of my son's room.
Yeah.
And he's coming home for Thanksgiving. So I did not get to go to the production meeting. I had to get the plumber working on the house. So from you, CJ, I still need TLDRs here and there because I just don't know. It's a comet. It's flying by Earth on December 19th and it's full of aliens.
That's it.
Is that it?
That's all we need to know. It's Hail Bop Part 2. Drink your Kool-Aid.
Great.
Put on your Nikes. Put your Nikes on first, then drink the Kool-Aid, by the way. Order of operations is important.
Can I just mention something, my kid? The leak is repaired. I'm working on getting your carpets dry.
Then why did you order 4 slip and slides today? Leak is repaired.
That's my own kink.
Okay, look, a comet, it's kind of flying by Earth on December 19th, although it's not sort of true.
I need to know from you. I need to know when I need to look up at the night sky so I can see this thing fly by. Because I know it's flying by fast, and I want to, it'll be just like the whole night sky will go dark. It'll be like an eclipse when this thing goes by.
No, it's going to...
Just tell me when.
It's not a B-2 flyover. This isn't the start of like a USC, University of Texas football game.
Oh, you know what else? I actually have something on that day. Is there any possibility we can reschedule this thing?
No!
Can we do it the 18th or can we do it the 20th?
That is not how any of this works. To my knowledge, we have no control over this thing.
This is a rock bigger than Manhattan, probably, and it's hurling toward us, and it's coming from not our solar system, some other solar system somewhere.
It's hurling towards us as if it was a ping pong ball bouncing around the Earth's orbit.
Yeah.
It's not going to be anywhere really near us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming near Earth on the galactical scale, but not really on the like asteroids, Armageddon.
Yes.
No, you can't just redirect the Three-Eye Atlas. It's not an option.
So tell me what the options are. Obviously, I'm having to reschedule my life for this thing.
Yes.
So what are the options?
And by the way, I'm sorry for that.
Yeah.
I'd like to apologize to you on behalf of Three-Eye Atlas. I apologize that you're going to have to not go to the thing. I'm so frustrated.
Tell your story.
Okay, look.
You tell the story because I don't know the story. I'm just being goofy because I have no sense of any of this.
Usually my job. Thank you for doing that this time. It's really fascinating. Here's the way I think of this. Philosophically, we have no certainty that the sun will rise tomorrow in the eastern sky. The point is, we've got some understanding of physics. It's been all observational. And we've said, we're pretty sure that tomorrow the Earth's going to continue to spin and we're going to see the sunrise. And that's what's probably going to happen.
Probable. Yeah.
But that's sort of the same way I think about this Three-Eye Atlas, because while it's most likely that it's not an alien spacecraft, right? And it's most likely that it's not going to unleash little tiny probes to inspect our planet. And it's most likely not going to land on our planet like Dean Devlin predicted 30 years ago in Independence Day. It will most likely be a great thought experiment where we get to explore self-imposed limitations on our own thoughts and mental openness. That's to me is the opportunity.
You're trying to tell me I have to be mentally open to this thing being full of aliens?
Yes.
Is it like an Easter egg when you crack it open? It's just a zillion of them, like ants just pour out? Is that how many? Or is there just one?
What the hell kind of Easter eggs are you opening?
I just want to know what happens. Is there going to be a lot of aliens or is it going to be a small?
That is a nightmare fuel.
Is there just like one guy who's like buying the whole thing?
There's one.
Irvin.
There's just one.
Yeah.
Look, I think the opportunity here is not that we're going to witness aliens coming out of this thing, right? That are going to come to Earth and explain all of our great riddles to us.
Yeah.
What I think is more likely is it's just going to be a giant comet. It's a bunch of ice and dust, but we get to explore it. And I think that's really fun. And I think it's going to drag a bunch of people along for the ride to sort of go through this thought experiment. That's what I'm excited about.
Okay, so now we're getting somewhere. So we're probably not going to have Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum working on the sequel of their films.
I would assume this is the setup for the sequel. I'm assuming when this thing lands, you're going to have Will. They'll be like, I told you.
Dean's typing right now, isn't
Dean is typed. He is totally He is furiously typing away of just being like, oh, yeah.
Here we go. Let's go.
We'll make it a comet. That is more believable.
Okay, stargazers, hold their breath as Comet Atlas approaches. Let's go.
Come to think of it, I really loved Randy Quaid in that film.
He's better in Vacation.
Oh, yeah, of course.
It's the ultimate cosmic lottery. The third confirmed visitor from another star system, Comet 3I Atlas, has completed its close pass of our sun. But this Manhattan-sized object is defying the rulebook, prompting a scientific debate that echoes Oumuamaa's enigma. Why the controversy? NASA data confirms an unexplained non-gravitational acceleration, a tiny, persistent kick that can't be fully accounted for by simple outgassing. Add to that its reported blue glow, unusual composition, and the subsequent disappearance of a visible cometary tail post-Perihelion, and the natural explanations strain credibility. Could this be the work of an internal engine?
Like a V8?
Harvard's Avi Loeb suggests the anomalies point to a technological artifact, a probe deliberately traversing our system. Whether it's a dominant relic or an active scout, 3I Atlas is open to tantalizing high-stakes question. Is this an inert space rock or the output of something intelligent? Maybe something even guiding it. The data arriving now may be the final clue. Okay, let's step back now and look at 3I Atlas from the beginning, please.
Okay, well, the beginning was a long time ago. This is only supposed to be a 40-minute show.
22.
Oh, look at that. I never got that memo. Huh.
Yeah, talk faster.
Oh, look, before we dig into this, I want to remind everyone of where I am at on the Dunning-Kruger curve, right? You know, that cognitive bias where people with low ability in a particular area overestimate their skill, while highly skilled individuals tend to underestimate their abilities. Yeah. I'm deep in what we call the valley of despair.
Yeah.
Certainly on this topic, but also the world at large, right? What does that mean? It means what I know best and most absolute is what I have no knowledge of. And in theory, I should know what I know well, but I don't even know what I know. I constantly find myself thinking I'm at the beginning of the curiosity and learning curve on virtually every topic in life. So I'm just looking for other giants' shoulders to stand on, which is my whole approach to this show and certainly this topic. I bring this up because while I'm fascinated by space and certainly science at large, I am no expert. So just presume somewhere between 5 and 30% of what I say here about interstellar objects is actually true, and the rest is just Meatware Brain-slop.
I suspect everyone here is already doing that, so you're in good company.
Oh, really? I thought 5% was sort of a high bar, so that's great.
Did you?
All right, Jeff, take me to Chile.
The NASA-funded Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System Survey Telescope, aka ATLAS,
much better name,
it's in Rio Hurtado, Chile, first reported observations to the Minor Planet Center of the Comet 3I Atlas on July 1st, 2025. So we have just discovered this thing a couple of months ago.
I mean, it's really recent, and since the first report was made in July, observations made before the discovery were gathered from the archives of 3 different ATLAS telescopes around the world, including Caltech's Zwicky Transit Facility at the Palomar Observatory in San Diego County, California. So these pre-discovery observations extend back to June 14th. So it was sort of one of those things where like we found it in July, then we went, ooh, let's go look at the security surveillance video, and went back and looked at it and it was like, oh, there, we see it. It's there.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's really cool. Folks, it pays to archive your data.
I see this as being called 3-letter I Atlas. Does the 3I designation in the name signify something important?
It does, and it's kind of fascinating what it signifies. Comets are generally named for their discoverers, right? And in this case, the Atlas survey team that you mentioned earlier, they were the ones that found it. So that's where the Atlas comes from. The I is for interstellar. So in the 3I, the I is for interstellar, indicating that this object came from outside of our solar system. The 3 means it's the third known interstellar object that we've ever observed.
Okay.
That's it. Not this year, not this month.
So we're bad at this.
We are not good at this, right? The last time we saw one of these, the dinosaurs went away. So not something we see often.
So there were 2 before this. I did that math in my head.
Very good. Yes. The first confirmed object from another star was what you mentioned earlier, 1I, Oumuamua.
Yeah.
I am not good with Hawaiian words. Those are hard. It was first observed in 2017, and it's an asteroid, not a comet, with a rocky sort of cigar-shaped object with a somewhat reddish hue. The name means, in Hawaiian, a messenger from afar arriving first. That's the sort of origin of the name.
It doesn't have to take in so many words. It means first scout.
Okay. This guy was up to about a quarter mile long, and it was very sort of elongated, right? About 10 times as long as it was wide. So the aspect ratio is greater than any other asteroid or comet that we've ever observed in our solar system to date, which sort of gave us a little bit of a hint.
Tell me about the second one.
Ooh, the second one, 2I Borisov. This was first observed in 2019. The comet was discovered by a Crimean amateur astronomer and telescope maker, Gennady Borisov. So that's where the name comes from.
He makes telescopes.
So he's
telescopes. Hawking his wares by discovering cool stuff in the space.
I mean, it's pretty cool that he discovered the second ever observed interstellar object.
Oh, for sure, for sure. So you're saying in the time that mankind has been looking at the stars,
yes,
studying all the stars,
yes,
poring over them, Copernicus, all the guys, we've only seen 3 of these.
Copernicus et al. There's so many to list. Let me just throw Copernicus out there.
Here.
The one that the church wouldn't allow out of his house. That one. Let's start with him. Yeah, this is nuts. I mean, we've been staring at the sky for hundreds, certainly, even if not thousands of years, observing it. And we've only found 3 of these. And the third one was found in July of
Explain
this year.
why that is to me. Why are we so bad at this?
That is a great question. So they're tiny. These objects, relatively speaking, are tiny.
This thing's the size of Manhattan. It's bigger than Manhattan. It's not that tiny.
Well, this is all objects of reference, right? I mean, this is how big you think you're looking at. Like, relative to the Earth, it's tiny.
Sure.
Relative to the sun, it's minuscule. Typically, and 3I Atlas is a little bit bigger, but typically they're tens to hundreds of meters across. They're not that big. Okay. They're smaller than most comets we can track across the solar system. They're typically moving hyperbolically, which means they're somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 70 kilometers per second relative to the sun.
Is that fast or slow?
That is fast.
Okay.
That is insanely fast. And by the time a telescope even notices one, it's already gone. It's already moved out of the solar system. That's one sort of point. Generally, they're small and they're fast. Space is also ridiculously big and empty. And if you imagine a ping pong ball drifting through a sphere the size of the Earth's orbit around the sun, not the size of the Earth, the size of the Earth's orbit around the sun. Now make that ping pong ball dark, cold, and sort of tumbling around.
Sure.
That's the search problem astronomers are trying to face. You're trying to find a ping pong ball inside the Earth's orbit, which is insane.
I have trouble finding them under my couch.
Even if a few dozen of these interstellar objects enter the solar system each year, the odds that one happens to cross near Earth so that we can see it, reflect enough sunlight so that we can see it, and get imaged by a wide field survey telescope are still pretty tiny.
Wait, back up. Is Webb optically observing this thing, or is this radio telescope, or is this ultraviolet telescope? Is there what is Webb sensing from the sky?
I believe the sensor that Webb used to see it was infrared.
Okay.
I think it was seeing in infrared.
So it's not sunlight as much as it's heat, although those things are related. Probably.
So Webb has some interesting properties. You cannot point to the Webb at the sun, you will kill it.
Right. So because you need the shield.
Yeah. So Webb always has to be pointed away from the sun to keep it cool. We only recently got the right sort of eyes for the job, if you will, right? The that first one in 2017, 1I Uma was found by Pan-STARRS 1, which is one of the first wide field automated sky surveys designed for near Earth object detection. We haven't had these detection systems for long. Before 2010, we just didn't have the technology to catch something that faint and moving that fast.
Sure.
But now we've got some things that are changing that, right? I mentioned the ZTF, the Zwicky Transit Facility, and then soon we've got the Vera Rubin Observatory. Their LSST are changing the game, right? But that's very recent progress. So we haven't really had the ability to detect them, which is probably why we haven't seen them.
Plus, they wear invisibility cloaks.
Plus, the aliens turned on the invisibility shield. You're right.
Sure.
That's exactly what it is. They are very crafty. They're not funny, but they're crafty.
So, dumb question. How many of these interstellar objects could there be?
Not a dumb question at all. I think that's a really...
It is a dumb question because obviously we have no way of knowing. There could be billions of these things.
No, yeah.
And the size of space is so big and so vast. There's so many galaxies. There could be trillions of these things. Even more. A number I don't have. There could be gagillions of these things, and that's not even a number.
Gagillions is the next step up for you?
Yeah, pretty sure.
The interstellar traffic rate is quite low, to the best of our knowledge.
That's the problem right there.
To our knowledge, yeah, of course.
Which is very limited.
Modeling suggests that while there are probably billions of interstellar objects drifting through the Milky Way, that's sort of the good news, but they're spread over billions of cubic kilometers of space. That's the bad news.
Yeah.
Or I guess maybe that's the good news because we're not slamming into this stuff constantly. Current estimates suggest we might only expect one detectable interstellar visitor every few years with today's survey sensitivity. You're seeing one every couple years of some size. The Rubin Observatory, once operational, should bump that up to a few per year.
Sure.
That's sort of like the world that we're expecting to be in. So it's not a lot.
Once they find out we have a Sharkies, they'll come a lot more.
You think so? You think the rocks will be?
I do.
Will be swinging by?
They like Mexican food.
Who doesn't?
So back to 3I Atlas. What else have we used to survey it?
That's another good question. Well, July 1st, when we found it, that was the Atlas telescope in Rio Hurtado in Chile. The initial images showed a very faint point source with a barely detectable coma, right? The trail behind it. But it was enough to allow us to classify it as a comet, so you sort of knew what to look for and where it was going.
The coma is blue.
I believe on that one was blue. Yeah, I think so.
It's so interesting.
The follow-up to this was within really a couple days, major observatories all over the planet confirmed the diffuse coma and the short dust tail. So they basically said, hey, we think we got a thing. We want to make sure it's not just us seeing it. So a bunch of observatories went and looked at it. Those optical images gave us the first reliable orbit and the big sort of aha moment that its eccentricity was 2.6. And
I don't know what any of that means.
It's the shape of the orbit. It sort of confirms that it's a hyperbolic orbit and that it's not in our solar system. It's not captured by our sun and in our solar system.
Hence we call it an interstellar object. An ISO, as the kids say.
NASA's Hubble Space Telescope, right? The one that just keeps on ticking. It captured an image on July 21st when the comet was about 277 million miles from Earth. So we got a picture from the Hubble.
Okay.
And Hubble revealed a teardrop-shaped cocoon of dust coming off of the comet's solid icy nucleus. So that gave us certainly more detail. Because Hubble was tracking the comet moving along this hyperbolic trajectory, the stationary background stars are actually streaked in the exposure, which is really cool.
Oh, that's so cool.
Right? It's like you're basically doing like a slow shutter speed as you're tracking the target and getting this nice blur behind it.
Yeah.
Then, as you mentioned earlier, the James Webb Space Telescope observed 3I Atlas in August and September before the solar conjunction made it unobservable from Earth. So this is right before we lost sight of it on Earth.
Stop, back up. What's a solar conjunction?
It's basically when something gets too close to the sun or goes behind the sun and then we can't see it.
Okay.
So the JWST, James Webb Space Telescope, their NIR spec and MIRI instrumentations picked up a couple things. A strong CO2 emission spectrum. Mm-hmm. So that was the volatile-rich coma that we're looking at. The faint extended dust halo, so resolving out to around several thousand kilometers. So not small. The data that it gave us was sort of the sharpest spectra we have of any interstellar comet so far from the Webb, which is pretty cool.
And then it went behind the sun and we couldn't see it at all. So what happened then?
So it goes behind the sun. Now you can't see it from Earth, but you can see it from other non-Earth observation points, specifically Mars. When it passed the perihelion, right? This is about 1.3 astronomical units. So it's about 1.3 times the distance from the Earth to the sun away from the sun. It was behind the sun relative
to Earth,
from the Earth, right? So you couldn't see it. Mars was on the opposite side of the sun, so we could see it from the Mars.
Do we have
orbiters.
an observatory on Mars? Because I'm not aware of that.
The European Space Agency's ExoMars Trace Gas Orbiter, the TGO, it captured a wide-angle color image of the comet's coma from around 30 million kilometers away. So it confirmed the continued activity at the perihelion. So we knew that it was still moving.
Perihelion?
And then about a month ago, NASA's HiRISE camera.
No, tell me what a perihelion is.
The word is a combination of the Greek words peri, meaning around or near, and helios, meaning sun. So this goes back to about the 17th century to describe the point in an orbit where a celestial body is the closest to the sun.
Closest to the sun.
Yeah, the nearest point that it that 3I Atlas got to the sun. So then about a month ago, NASA's HiRISE camera, which is on board the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, was able to capture the highest resolution images of 3I Atlas that we have to date. But NASA has yet to release the images, citing the government shutdown. And hopefully, now that the government shutdown is about to end, NASA will release the data that was basically held hostage by politics for 40 days. And the general consensus is scientific knowledge deserves to be free.
Of course.
And should not be second in priority to bureaucracy.
This is outrageous.
Sadly, it's probably pretty far down the list of all the outrageous things that happen when the government shuts down. But this is one of them.
Yeah, it's totally amazing to me that we're even able to get photos of this thing from Earth, let alone from the Webb telescope.
Yeah.
Because it's moving super quickly, right?
It's hauling, right? Relative to the sun, the 3I Atlas entered the solar system at an insane rate of speed. At discovery, it was doing about 61 kilometers per second, which is roughly speaking 137,000 miles per hour relative to the sun. For perspective, the ISS, which is in low Earth orbit, about 250 miles above the surface of the Earth, it moves at about 7.8 kilometers per second, or around 17,000 miles per hour.
Super slow.
Yeah, super slow, relatively speaking. The first interstellar object, the one Oumuamua.
Oumuamua.
Yeah, that one, Oumuamua. It came into our solar system at around 26 kilometers per second, about 58,000 miles per hour.
Well, yeah, it's Hawaiian. It was
not in a hurry. The second one, the 2I Borisov, it was faster. It was about 32 kilometers per second. Between the two of them, you're looking at roughly 2x the speed of the first two.
So these things are speeding up as we go.
Well, yeah, they're all independent. But
4I CJ is going to be just hauling.
I can promise you I'm not finding one of these things. If somebody pointed a telescope at it and said, just look through the eyepiece, you'll see it. There's no chance I would see it.
I think you're just not trying.
I have very bad astigmatism. So 3i Atlas at 61 kilometers per second is roughly 2x the previous interstellar objects that we've observed.
And that is what effectively proves that it's interstellar, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The hyperbolic excess, so that's the speed that it still has after you subtract off the sun's pull, is way too high for something that formed in the outer solar system and just got sort of yeeted in to the solar system by planets, right? There's no way you would have that kind of speed. We're certain it's coming in on its own, and we're pretty certain that it's not planning on sticking around. Assuming there's no propulsion on it, it ain't sticking around.
It'll blow right through our solar system.
Yeah, or it breaks up.
Or breaks.
But it's still moving.
No, I'm not saying breaks up. I'm saying if it has brakes, then it could stop and just hover above us.
Oh, yeah, and then land.
I've seen Independence Day.
Yeah, it's not good. You don't want to be in a populated area. This is where Ohio wins.
But this is not the only way that we know that it's interstellar. Its trajectory leaves us little doubt this thing is just passing through.
Yes, that is correct. It's because it's going so fast, we're certain that it has a hyperbolic orbit. It's not going to be bound to the sun because it's moving too quick. There's no way the sun's gravitational pull
is going to slow it down.
Could slow it down enough to pull it back into an orbit around the sun. What we call its orbital eccentricity. So this is sort of a measurement of think about like how round it is. It's 2.6. Now, for comparison, solar system objects, things that are captured by our sun, have eccentricities that are less than or equal to 1. So if you're in a circular orbit, you're about 0. Right? It means you're a circle. You're not leaving.
Gotcha.
Typical comets are somewhere between 0.9 and 0.99. So they're moving around in some big sort of ellipsis. If you have 1.0, you are a perfect parabolic escape trajectory, barely unbound. So you are just staying in ever so perfectly in orbit. Mm-hmm. If you're greater than 1, like 3i Atlas is 2.6, then it means the object is moving too fast for the sun's gravity to keep it in the solar system, and it will ultimately escape.
Just passing through. Yeah.
Just passing through for a brief moment on the cosmic scale.
You mentioned the sun. How close did it ultimately get to our sun?
Well, this is what we talked about earlier, the Perihelion. So 3i Atlas reached its perihelion, or its closest point to our sun, on October 30th. And that was a distance of about 1.4 astronomical units, or you'll see it abbreviated as AU. Mm-hmm. That's about 130 million miles, or 210 million kilometers.
That's a great primer, and most of this completely makes sense so far. I hope no one from JPL is listening and
not
critiquing everything we're getting wrong, because, again, I missed the meeting. So why is there controversy around 3i Atlas?
Because we don't really have a good enough reason to know any of this is for certain, which is sort of the view that I take.
Well, we can observe how fast it's moving. We can observe its size. What part of this are we not able to observe? What are we not knowing?
Well, as mentioned at the top of the show, we're trying to learn and understand a lot about this interstellar object in a very short period of time, right? Remember, we've only seen 3 of these things to date. And while some of the things we know to be relatively certain, there are some things that we're not entirely certain of.
This is where Avi Loeb comes in.
Yes.
He's causing a ruckus about this thing.
But there has to be a non-zero number of homes where half the household is like it's a comet, and the other half of the household is like it's not a comet. It's just a giant Trojan horse. Yeah. So Avi.
That's one of the things Avi Loeb says, though.
Yeah.
If it's full of aliens, and we don't know it's full of aliens because it's like a Trojan horse. It looks like it's friendly, and then, of course, it gets here, and then the people crawl out of the horse and kill us.
Well, we were talking about Independence Day earlier. Remember, on the same time, we got that great movie, Mars Attacks, where we're like, oh, they come in peace. Let's go visit them. And then it annihilates all 3 branches of government.
Explain to me who Avi Loeb is and why we care about him.
Avi is a Harvard astrophysicist. He's the former chair of the astronomy department. You may have heard his name before when he suggested that the first interstellar object, Oumuamua, might have been artificial.
Wait, might have been artificial. Might not have been a giant tumbleweed blowing through space.
It might have been a light sail or a fragment of alien technology. So you can sort of put Avi in your brain, as I do, sort of like a brilliant theoretical physicist meets the History Channel's Ancient Aliens episode.
Okay.
He kind of blends both of them, which I think there's good reason for.
He's literally got a book he's hawking called Extraterrestrial, the First Sign of Intelligent Life Beyond Earth.
Yeah.
So he wants to sell some books.
Sure.
Because if you don't sell books, you can't stay a professor at Harvard.
Nope.
Tell me what Avi is saying about 3i Atlas.
He's already published several papers. I think he's got 6 or 7 papers that he's already published on this. And he's been blogging virtually daily, arguing that 3i Atlas shows a non-gravitational acceleration that cannot be fully explained by cometary outgassing. He is prolific.
Something is causing this thing to move in ways that don't look like natural causes.
Yes.
It appears to be moving in ways that are
not easily explained.
Not easily explained.
He claims that there's this observed kick, right? A small but persistent deviation from a purely gravitational path that would require too much mass loss if it were just sublimating ices. Something like 10% or so of the object's total mass would have to be sucked out of this thing in days. And he's going, yeah, I'm not sure that checks out. The spectra and brightness data doesn't show enough visible debris or dust to support that level of outgassing. So he's basically saying like the data here doesn't make sense if it's doing what we say that it's doing.
Sure.
So his belief is that something else could be causing the push.
Aliens.
I shouldn't say his belief. He's suggesting that something else could be causing the push, right? One possibility, and he never misses the chance to say this, is some sort of artificial propulsion mechanism. And this is where sort of the ancient aliens come in. And that could be a radiation-driven reflections, or what we classically would call a light sail, an engineered thin material responding unusually to sunlight that we don't understand, or it could be a structure behaving differently from natural rock or ice. So in short, he's just saying the math doesn't add up, so maybe it's some sort of tech that we don't understand.
That seems like a massive jump.
It's a pretty big jump.
The math doesn't add up, so maybe it's tech. It's an interstellar object that's coming from a completely different time in the universe.
Yeah.
It's totally ancient by comparison to everything in our solar system. It has to be, right?
I mean, if you look at the big picture math, and this is not, I would not call this conspiratorial, it's sort of just the math. There are billions of galaxies with billions of stars in each one, and we are on the lighter side of age in the universe. So you've got places that are a lot older than us. It does seem feasible, and my personal belief is that it is certain that you have had other intelligent life out there in the universe. Maybe not the same time as us. Maybe it is.
Yeah.
Who knows? But it doesn't seem like we would evolve and be the only ones that are smart enough to have podcasts.
It seems probable that there would be aliens.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Maybe not the same time. This rock could have been hurled out of some other galaxy billions of years ago. We don't know. It's going to take Voyager 1 billion years to get outside of our galaxy, but it's going to until it hits something.
I want to believe.
You should.
I also miss Art Bell.
I miss Feynman too, but here we are.
I don't want to believe. I want to know.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do agree with that.
Okay, so what do the other scientists, the ones who don't have a book to hawk, have to say about this?
Ones that don't have aspirations for a TV show?
Sure.
Well, Avi's never coming on our show, is he? Just doing the Joe Rogan show and then moving on. The broader astronomical community has, let's just say, responded with the same tone that you would use when a friend insists that the moon landing was filmed on a soundstage. The mainstream view is that these non-gravitational acceleration is real, but explained by normal cometary processes, right? CO2 outgassing, asymmetric jets, or even fragmentation. We just don't have the scale of observation of the data to be able to make all the math make sense. That's sort of the mainstream view.
For sure.
The consensus is that 3I Atlas is a natural interstellar comet, not alien tech, just a weird one with an unusual volatile mix in geometry.
Yeah.
Look, many researchers consider it speculative clickbait that confuses the public about the scientific process. And I can see that view, right? Others defend him, saying he's simply asking uncomfortable questions about anomalies.
Give me your view.
As a subscriber to Occam's razor, right, the problem-solving principle, it states the simplest explanation is usually the best one when presented with competing theories. I think 3I Atlas is a big old ball of ice and dust that is just passing through. That seems to fit. But I think Loeb is right to question it with such rigor. In his writings, he said the main threat to new knowledge is the arrogance of expertise. Okay. And I can't imagine many things more true than that. Not being too certain and just exploring it. It is the scientific process. The argument against will be, well, we've already gotten to the answer because the data all checks out. But I think the more important point is getting missed, which is that he's getting so many people, scientifically minded or just scientifically curious, and especially kids, engaged about science. And that's what really attracted me to this story, is that there's so many people that are interested in this now.
So what you're saying is the globe is the Carl Sagan of astronomy.
I'm going to have to dig myself out of this hole, aren't I?
You've seen the tabloid The Globe. It's all about
of course.
Yeah, it's all about aliens and Martians and crazy.
This isn't that though.
Oh, sure it is.
It is a little bit, but it's got people engaged in the science. Just saying these guys landed in Roswell, New Mexico, and here's their cornbread recipe. If it gets people interested in this, even if the premise is like, hey, we're just exploring this thing, it's probably not true, but we're going to explore it anyway. I think that's great. And to me, it's magical. And it's really probably the reason he's doing this, is to get more people engaged and why he puts that spin on it. That's my view.
I am pro gathering data constantly. Always gather data. Always gather data. Nothing is more important than gathering new data, new information.
I think it's super interesting. I love that he's getting kids engaged in this. And if this is the thing that a bunch of kids remember or gets them interested in science, I am I am all for it.
I have mixed feelings. I totally have mixed feelings about this. To me, this is God of the gaps, which is when you get to something you don't understand
explain.
and you immediately say, oh, it's aliens, it's space aliens. We used to say it was gods. Oh, well, it's Poseidon throwing up the waves and making the ocean, he's angry. Now when we don't understand things, we go, well, yeah, aliens.
Well, but the difference to me, and I think this is a very substantial difference, if we just said it's aliens full stop, I would agree with you. I would agree with you. Gods of the Gap would apply, but it's not that.
It could be aliens. It could be aliens. That's going to be so low on my list. That's going to be one of the last things I check.
Sure. Again, from the top, I don't think that's likely true, but I think it is worth exploring. It's worth taking these anomalies and being like, oh, what could this be? Let's have the brain exercise. Let's do the philosophy work and say, well, it could be these things. These things could describe it. But I do think it's interesting to explore. I hear your point. I do. But I think if it makes it more interesting and gets more people understanding science, the net effect is you're going to get more science and more data.
I think what you're going to get is more pseudoscience.
Really?
I think you're going to get more people thinking, I think you're going to get more people thinking, oh, well, it's probably aliens. We don't understand it. It's got to be aliens. That jump. And the former chair of Harvard's astronomy department believes this or thinks this or is leading us to believe this, so it must be true. He's saying this is a big possibility and we should not discard it. Nobody's discarding it. We're just saying it's really unlikely.
Yeah, it is unlikely. But I think it's worth exploring, going, well, these things here don't line up. How do we get them to line up?
But saying it's aliens is virtually like assigning it to a god, like saying there's some unknown force, it must be a god.
Yeah.
Is it an unknown thing? It must be an alien.
If you believe that there is an extraterrestrial intelligent life form, you've got to ascribe something to it at some point if it exists.
Why do I have to do that? I need some sort of proof that it's actually some sort of...
That's what we're trying to figure out.
Some sort of alien who's flying to us. Carl Sagan had this great line, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence.
Yep.
We don't have extraordinary evidence. We have what looks like a very natural physical phenomenon.
Yeah, I don't know the science well enough to know for sure. It does seem like there are some reasonable size holes in this thing. Not giant holes, but some reasonable size holes. My hunch is they're explained in uncertainty. And that's probably where we're at. And you go, well, this is just stuff that's uncertain. We don't really know.
There is nothing more important than being able to say the phrase, I don't know.
Of course.
I'm not going to ascribe this to the gods. I'm not going to ascribe this to aliens. I don't know.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's how we get science. That's how we progress in science. But when we start with things and we say, and we're willing to say, I don't know.
That is exactly what Loeb is saying. Loeb is saying, I don't know. Here are things that could fit.
Yeah.
And that to me is what he's saying. He's not saying it must be, or it has to be, or this is the only explanation.
It could be God's hand modifying its trajectory.
Yes. Sure.
It could be alien technology modifying its trajectory. Those things are really similar.
Well, the physics is pretty straightforward. There's no friction out there. You're going around a heavier body. We sort of know the weight of that body. So if you see gravitational pull and you go, well, something's happening that's not that, we have to explain it from something. And if our observation of the gas jets doesn't fulfill it, which it looks like it's not a perfect fit, there's some air in there. What else is it? We'll know more in the next couple of weeks.
When it flies by?
It gets closer. We don't actually know that we'll know more. What we know is it'll be the best that we're going to be able to see.
Yeah.
Because after that, it's only going to get farther away. You'll get a little more imaging from Webb, I think, as it gets farther out, but then that's it.
What time am I supposed to look up?
7:02.
Okay, I'll be ready.
Wait, dead savings time, 8:02 p.m.
All right, we have to get out of here, but quickly before we do, have you seen or read anything good this last week?
Yes, of course. Operation Space Station, the high-risk build, dropped on Nova this week.
Yeah.
So couldn't be more timely or apt for this story. The International Space Station, as you well know, is the size of a football field, right?
Yes.
Hurtling around Earth at around 17,000 miles per hour, shielding its astronauts from the most hostile environment humans have ever endured.
Yeah.
And after 25 years of continuous human presence in space, astronauts and mission control insiders reveal the most terrifying moments aboard this remarkable orbiting laboratory.
There had to be a lot of them.
Oh man, wait till you see it. Where a single mistake could prove fatal. From ammonia leaks, meteor strikes, and docking disasters to spacewalk horrors, potentially lethal showers of space junk, and the moment the entire ISS backflipped out of control. It follows life or death dramas unfolding 250 miles above our planet at 17,000 miles per hour.
Wow.
The human ingenuity and teamwork to save the day. It's well done. It's really great. Episode 1 of a 2-part series premiered on November 5th, so just earlier this week. You can watch it on PBS or on YouTube TV like I did. Part 2 is due out next week on November 12th. It's a really great watch.
Beyond psych. That's totally my kind of thing. I would love that.
I watch it with my kids. My oldest son could not take his eyes off the screen. He was so fixated on it.
That's fascinating.
It's really a great show. How about you? What have you seen?
You would think with this topic, I'd recommend the 1998 movie Armageddon.
Of course.
But there was actually another film that year about a big comet asteroid flying by Earth.
Yes.
A more thoughtful, scientifically grounded one called Deep Impact.
Not the adult one.
No. A massive, recently discovered comet is hurling toward Earth, threatening an extinction-level event. The government races to build a secret ark of survivors. A desperate space mission, Messiah, launches with a veteran crew to plant nuclear bombs on the comet's core. The world watches, waiting for either salvation or annihilation. The mission fails to destroy the comet, splitting it into 2 fragments. As the first smaller chunk strikes the Atlantic, triggering a colossal tsunami that devastates the East Coast, the crew of the Messiah must make a final heroic sacrifice to save humanity from the larger fragment. The film is a poignant study of family, duty, and facing the end of the world. Of course, it completely misses the fact that you wouldn't need the force to break the comet in half. You'd only need to nudge it slightly to the left or the right to change its trajectory a degree or two.
What a great film that would have been.
And it'll completely miss the Earth. But it's still a fun movie.
We have to deviate by 1 degree. We have to
nudge this thing just slightly. It's in space, too. It's not really that hard to nudge.
The most anticlimactic film ever. You come on and you'd be like, well, that was scientifically accurate.
But Morgan Freeman's in it, so you totally buy it. You go with it. It's great. It's a very good film.
I mean, how many times do you look at another man's shoes?
Exactly. Deep Impact on Netflix and Paramount Plus now.
And I probably haven't seen that film in 25 years.
It's great fun. That is the episode.
Thank you for joining us for all of Jeff's nonsense, a truly terrible podcast from our awful company. Visit us on the web at nonsense.productions. I'm Chile.
I'm Jeff Parker.
If you like this program, please follow, download, subscribe, and like at Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, Antennapod, iHeartRadio, Spotify, My Favorite Overcast, The X-Files, or wherever you may get your podcasts from.
Nonsense Studios uses 7-Zip, a high-compression file archiver. Open source and completely free for personal and commercial use with no hidden fees or expiring trials. A simple interface lets you get things done fast and secure your data with its strong AES 256 encryption. Available on every modern and not-so-modern platform. 7-Zip, check it out.
Oh, I get it. Zipping like a comet.
That's the connection, yes.
We'll be here every Tuesday and Thursday mornings for more nonsense. Please join us. Here's the thing. If the aliens come here and they're not friendly.
Yes.
We'll just put them on the ice.
Go ahead. I'm so sorry.
Oh. Why did I let go of what you were laughing at? Usually you start laughing.
Just the beginning of you're back with the aliens and I'm just dying.